Let's look at 6 great exercises when you want to get familiar with a sewing machine. Most people start to sew on paper. Yes, they do. So draw some lines on a piece of paper, some curved ones and some straight lines. Put that piece of paper under your sewing machine and try to stitch on the lines. Paper is much easier to maneuver at first before you go over to fabrics. You can start slowly, and when it goes well, speed up. And then move over to some scrap fabrics. Use woven non-stretch fabric. Again, draw some lines with a fabric marker and try to stitch on those lines. After that, try to sew a straight line by following the edge with your presser foot or the marks on your sewing machine. You can also use a magnetic seam guide, which makes guiding the fabric a lot easier. We will now go over to sewing on multiple layers and we'll try to make a hem. First, draw a line like 1 inch from the edge, fold it over and iron it down. Then fold it again. We're making a double folded hem. Iron. Pin it down, the fold. The edge is now completely hidden. And stitch on the edge of the fold. This is a hem. Another sewing basic is sewing a seam. This is joining 2 fabric pieces. So grab 2 fabric pieces, put them right sides together and align the edge. Pin them together so they don't move. Draw a help line where you have to sew and stitch on that line through both layers. Go slow at first and push harder on the pedal when all goes well. This is a seam. You've joined 2 pieces of fabric. Iron the seam open and admire the result. To secure thread ends on the start and the end of a seam or a hem, you need backstitching. Backstitching is actually just stitching backwards. There's a button on your sewing machine that you can push to stitch backwards. This is important because you will need it at the start of every row of stitching and at the end. Let's do a 45-degree turn, which is different than sewing curved lines. So you are sewing, you stop with the needle down, lift the presser foot, put the presser foot down and start sewing again. It's important that your needle is down so the fabric doesn't move. Needle down, presser foot up, presser foot down, and sew. To put the needle in the down position, you can also use the hand crank of your sewing machine. If you want more tips and tricks for learning how to sew, go over to madamsew.com. Our sewing blog has a lot of free tutorials and guides and manuals and instructions for sewers, beginners and more advanced.